Hey, NJ MileSplit. I'm Robert Keller. Welcome to On the Mark, our brand new podcast style show, I guess. We're going to be laid back, but talking about the sport, having some fun here. And we'll see if you enjoy this show. Definitely share it around the social media. Let us know, and we'll see about maybe doing it weekly, bi-weekly kind of a thing as we move along with the rest of the season. I'm here with Jim Lambert. All of you should know who he is. He's been covering the sport almost 30 years now, contributing to New Jersey MileSplit. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Thanks, Robert. Great to be here. Great talking cross country. Nothing better. New Jersey XC. The road to Homedale Park starts right now. Can't wait to just get my NJXC on. Let's do this.
We're going to be going over some storylines today just to let you know about what we're talking about. We're going to be going over Devin Hart, another one. Is he going to be, how far is he going to go on the Homedale list? Can anyone stop CBA and North Hunterdon? Top teams returning full squads. There's a bunch of squads that are actually returning like all of their top 7. Classification changes, big movement here. Returning girls class is top notch. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to end with the NJSA advancement changes, yay or nay, kind of a thing, and we're going from there. But before we jump into that, we have this new podium series. Check that out, especially the coaches out there. We're talking to all the podium winning coaches from last year, the top 6 at MOCs, gave us a little bit of advice on how they set their team up during the summer months and how they choose their schedule and so on. That's going to be really cool over the next couple days and weeks. And then make sure you check out all of our season previews so far. There's a whole series of them. You can find them all on top of the site. A lot of returner rankings there. A lot of cool stuff. All right, Jim. So this was one we both wanted to talk about. Devin Hart. I mean, how low will he go, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he comes back defending champ, big favorite, 1534 last year. He got a big push last year from Chris Romero, as many of you remember. This year he might have to just, I don't know anybody in the state that could push him. Devin's going to have to just crank it up and just kind of push himself, I think, to to some fast times at Homedale. I mean, he's proven it in the past that he can get out there without somebody on his shoulder and still crank out fast times. And there's only been 5 guys who have ever gone under 1520 at Homedale. Like I said, Hart was 1534 last year. He's looking to join some all-time greats of breaking 1520. You're talking Edward Cheserek, the Rosa twins, Jim and Joe, Craig Foreys, Jason DeJoseph, legends of the sport, and Devin Hart is right on the cusp of joining that elite company. Personally, I think he can do it. I think he's the kind of guy who puts his mind to something. And like I said, whether he has someone to push him or not, I think the clock and the goals he has for himself out there, and he's told me many times that he wants to get as close to 15 as he can. And I definitely think he's going to join those legends that I spoke about and get under 1520 and do something pretty epic this year.
I mean, under 1520, yeah. That's joining the top 6. I mean, you got 1553, 1453, 1455. That's Cheserek and Rosa, and then it moves up to 1514. So he's joining some elite company there. Looking at his progression, freshman year 1635, 1558 a sophomore, junior he ran 1534. So I mean, it seems like he's on pace, but like you said, it's going to be interesting to see if anyone's there to push him. And I mean, what's up?
Yeah, but I mean, his outdoor season kind of shows he's ready to make that kind of a drop. I mean, you can't always go by 2-mile times in Homedale, but I like to do that. Most guys match up pretty well with if you can roll in the low 850s like Hart did last year, and that crazy back-to-back where he flies from Seattle after an 851 mile, comes back to Jersey, next day breaks 9 to win meet of champs in the 3200. I mean, you talk about being fit. And to drop times like that, back-to-back, that shows me that he's ready. You look at the top guys we talked about times and would come back the following cross-country season and drop those sub 1520 times. So the conversion 2-mile from the track to Homedale, it works for a lot of the top guys, and that's kind of what I'm going by here with Devin. That's why I think he's going to make that big drop.
Yeah, and he's kind of used to racing by himself too sometimes. I mean, especially on the track, he's alone a lot of the time. And he seems to have that discipline to really push himself in the competition, to really push himself. And he's not only prepping for MOCs, and obviously last year was almost like he was trying to make it harder running that crazy Brooks PR double before going to MOCs. But he's looking further. I mean, last year's at Foot Locker Nationals, what was he, top 10 at Foot Locker Nationals?
He was 10th. Yeah, he was exactly 10th.
Yeah, 10th.
So Foot Locker Nationals.
And that was, I remember talking to him at regionals, and that was like him getting his feet wet. So,
Right.
I mean, he's aiming even farther. So, I mean, just getting himself prepped for that is going to make himself run faster at MOCs. And then just looking at his title, I mean, 4 MOC titles now. Last year he did the full season sweep with an XC indoor and outdoor. It's just it's amazing to watch.
No, not too many guys have done what he's done at his age, and if he stays healthy, he's on pace to do the Triple Crown again. And this kid's motivated. I mean, he's motivated by the past, but he's motivated by history. And when you run as fast as he does, and all those guys on that Homedale list that are ahead of him, you're going to be running by yourself. I mean, it's tough to find another guy when you're running that fast to be with you. And he had a big performance at the New Balance Nationals too. So I mean, everything is lining up for him to just drop bombs. And he's probably going to pick his spots when he's going to run for time. Racing, workouts, getting mileage in. And I don't know if this is a target of his. It was last year, but the Ocean County Park course record, that has to be something that's definitely on his mind. That's went 14:51 there last year, puts him right there near the top. Mike McClemmons from CBA back in 2013, one of the fastest races of all time, when 5 guys broke 15 minutes, and McClemmons went 14:42 to get the Ocean County Park course record. That's definitely something, again, that it's got to be in Hart's crosshairs if he chooses to go for that at either the county meet or the conference meet. So hopefully that's something. I mean, make sure you see that race. If Devin Hart is going after the course record at Ocean County Park, that is a must-see. Stop what you're doing. Don't cut the lawn. Don't do anything your wife's telling you to do. Don't go out shop. Go to Ocean County Park. Watch Devin Hart. Watch Devin Hart wherever he goes, because big things can happen. Every time the guy steps on the line, you could be seeing history. Devin Hart is must-watch XC all year.
And then on top of that, Ocean County Park's a great course viewer-wise. All right, so we're going to be moving on to the next topic. Before we move there, I'm just looking at, there's a lot of guys who it's going to be exciting to see them break 16 too. We got Jack Jennings, ran 15:57 last year. And then we got Jack Stanley, his teammate, 16:01. TJ Hillier, 16:06. Das from West Windsor Plains Road South, 16:06. A lot of guys on the cusp there. It's going to be interesting to see how many break 16 this year.
Yeah, and who's going to be the breakout runner? I mean, every year there's a couple guys that last year was, Fod Nasir from McNair, dropping bombs. Guys that aren't on everybody's radar. Fod, yeah, stop the Fod. Nobody could stop the Fod. Who's going to make those big drops? Like you said, there's a lot of guys on that 16 bubble. And who's going to challenge hard? I mean, hey, you know what? Guys out there running all summer, working hard, not just going to concede every race to Devin Hart. I mean, he's the favorite, but hey, that should be motivation for everybody to get out there and see what they can do. I mean, go out there. I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there watching this, put in their mileage, going hard. Who's going to drop that 15:50, 15:40? There's going to be somebody out there, and that's the beauty of cross country every year is people you might not be looking at who can drop some bombs and make some noise.
All right, moving on to the next one. Can anybody stop CBA in North Hunterdon? So let's start with the boys, the CBA side. I mean, it's just like it's amazing. Every year they just next man up, and they're up top again. 16:34 average among their returners, and they look pretty strong this year. A lot of experience coming back.
Yeah, won meet of champs last year. Coach Shawn Mccafferty entering his 3rd year last year. CBA won their 22nd meet of champ title. Everyone knows about their dominance over the years. I mean, to give you an idea, like I said, 22 meet of champion titles. The next most meet of champ titles by any team is 4. It's just incredible what they've done. Arguably the greatest cross-country program in the country. And to answer your question, I don't think anybody can stop CBA. Yeah, sure, they lost Brian Hill, lost some other top guys, but bringing back a 16:34 and bringing back tons of guys with fast 2-mile track times, I just don't think anybody can match them. They were second Nike Northeast last year. They went to Nationals, got 7th. They've been top 10 7 times out there at Nike Nationals. Always a contender to win that. Last year, Xavier knocked them off. Xavier brings back a lot of guys too. So CBA, winning the meet of champs is always one of their biggest goals. Getting on the podium at Nike Nationals in Oregon and trying to win that. They won in 2011. Try to be the best team, not just in the state, but in the country. And I think that happen again. I think we're going to be seeing CBA doing CBA things, and it'll be interesting to see if someone can challenge stuff on Group 4 and camps. What teams are out there and give them a run? Kind of remains to be seen. I mean, you got McInerney. It should be leading the way for CBA this year. He had that huge outdoor season. Talk about a breakout guy in a track with a 4:10 runner-up, meet a champ, 1600.
McInerney had a great season.
Oh, he's a beast. McInerney's just an absolute beast. And when he dropped, like I said, 4:10. They got Luke Reed's coming back. I mean, well, they lost guys. They just continue to up. There's always a pack of Colts, waiting to step up and fill in that top 7, and they have great competition in the top 7 spots. And I just can't wait to see what CBA is going to do.
Well, while they're so far ahead, we still got to look at some of the teams that are coming back. Top 5 returning squads, all under 17 minutes. The closest one there at Homedale, Haddonfield. They return, and this kind of rolls into our next topic. They return their full squad. That's like the goal that you want going into a new season, is just having all of that experience come right back. And they were a good team last year.
Yeah, I mean, the Group 2 state champs, and like I said, all 7 guys back. Martin Riddell up top, and Derek Guess and company. I mean, these guys showed last year they were ready for prime time, as underclassmen. And now they got to be hungry, and they definitely, on paper, should be the team that gives CBA their strongest challenge. Like I said, there's some other teams out there too. A lot of Group 4 teams that are loaded again. And
Morris Hills too. I mean, the Group 3 team, they're going to have a big battle with Mendham, but Morris Hills all seniors this year too. That's a great lineup that you want to see. A lot of experience there as well, led by Matt Salazar, a 1643 runner.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Jack Attack before. Jack Jennings and Jack Stanley from Mendham, state Group 3 champs last year.
Mm-hmm. Top. They're in the. I think they're the 2 in the top 3 returners for Homedale this year.
Yeah. I was actually texting back and forth today with head coach Roy Hamblin. He said, "Hey, you know what? We lost 3 guys in that top 7, but we have some young, hungry guys that look like they can, fight for a spot in the top 5." He said we should be right there again. That'll be a great battle in Morris County between Mendham and Morris Hills, and they should battle it out, in Group 3 also. So, yeah, they're definitely a pair of teams that should be, fighting for a top 5 spot come meet a champs. I should have mentioned before, if I can rewind real quick, I knew I had a cheat sheet here somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't want to throw out wrong times on CBA. McInerney, we mentioned before, 9:20. This is just some 2-mile times CBA brings back. 9:20 on McInerney. Troy Hill, big sophomore year last year, 9:23. Luke Reed, 9:24. Crotchet, 9:35. Mike Morris, 9:42. Huntley, 9:55. I mean, these are, like I said, 7-8 guys that all broke, 10 minutes. And at Bowden Park, obviously the home site for Nike Northeast. I mean, Reed, 16:39. McInerney, 16:45. Troy Hill, 17:06. Mars, 04. 17:30. Justin Durney. Crotchet, 17:35. I mean, the depth is incredible. Just throwing out time so people understand just how deep and talented CBA is. And I think you guys, get the picture that CBA's is CBA. I mean, this is what they do. They come into the season as favorites, and it's going to be hard for anyone to keep them from running the table in the state.
By the way, CBA and Haddonfield's coaches, McCafferty and Baker, both on that new podium series. Definitely check that out, given some of their insights into summer training.
The podium series is fantastic. If you haven't watched it,
that was a great idea by Jim Schlentz. He went around interviewing all the coaches, and I've just been editing for days. But it's been an awesome. There's a lot of good stuff coming in that series.
Very cool. I know I've been watching it over and over again. Even I'm learning something from these coaches, believe it or not.
All right, so let's move on to the girls. North Hunterdon will be tough to stop. I mean, they won last year, first time in a very long time for that squad, and it's hard to believe that because they're so competitive every year, especially with those great battles with Ridge over the past few seasons. But they returned their entire squad this year. In fact, I think 3 in the top 5, maybe. North Hunterdon, Colts Neck, and Union Catholic all return their full squads into this new season.
Yeah, North Hunterdon. Boy, I don't know how you stop them. I mean, they were knocking on the door the last couple of years, and they lost some great battles with Ridge. Many times North Hunterdon came to Homedale for the group meet as the #1 team, and they kind of fell short. Finally kicked down the door last year, winning Group 4, winning Meet of Champs, top 7 back. Like you mentioned, they averaged 19.28 last year as a group. As you mentioned, it was a long time coming. They had a drought since '86. They now have 7 meet a champ titles, which is the second most in state history behind RBC's 9. I think they make it 8. You're looking at Chloe Gonzales up top. I mean, she had a breakout year. No one knew who Chloe Gonzales was outside of the Gonzales home before last year. And, she broke through, became their top runner by the end of the year. She joins, she's got a pack with Emily Nugent, Ellie DiMarcello. You have Angela Kearsley, Brenna Talamo, Alexander Carlson, Samantha Kaler. I mean, this team's locked and loaded, and if they stay healthy, that they can make it back not only to the top of the podium at Meet of Champs with another victory, but they've been to Nike Nationals 2 years in a row, won Nike Northeast last year. I see them as the favorite in the Northeast as well, and to go back to Oregon and fight for a podium spot there. So North Hunterdon's definitely going to be flexing their strength, not just in Jersey, but throughout the country. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with wherever they go.
And then, I mean, you said it there. There's so many great returners there, and Chloe Gonzales and Ellie DiMarcello, both were number ones at some point for that team. Like, they're both very talented runners who, if one's having a bad day, the other will pick up the race and lead the team to the finish. And then we got to look at, we were just talking about Coach Slent's Colts Neck girls. They're not too far behind, especially looking at these returner lists, and they have a lot of experience coming back, full squad too. So we'll have to see like how much ground they can make up coming from last year to see if they have anything special to put up a fight for North Hunterdon, averaging 1943 to North Hunterdon's 1924. And these are just stats, so this is why we race. These stats aren't going to mean much in the coming weeks once the season kicks off. So some big stuff there.
Yeah. No, you're right about Colts Neck. Anytime you bring back a veteran team, they won Group 3 the last couple of years. Schlentz always has them running their best at Homedale. No matter what happens leading up to that, they are always ready for that for the group championship and the Meet of Champs. They always seem to run their best when it matters most. That's the mark of a great coach and a great program. So I'd be shocked if Colts Neck doesn't give North Hunterdon a run for the money up at the top. And you mentioned those two teams having their full top 7 back, and Unicast is another team that has their full top 7 back. They won non-public A last year and a great battle with Red Bank Catholic, and with Jerica Lafrano up top, one of the top returners in the state. I mean, she was second in non-public A, one of the top finishers at Meet of Champs, and just a very, very tight pack from 2 to 5. I see, Unicast also as a team that should be definitely on a podium and definitely fighting for a top spot. I mean, hey, this is why you run the races. You bring back that many good runners, you get it right on the right day, and bang, big things can happen. So, yeah, North Hunterdon's the big favorite on paper, rightfully so. They earn that. But these other teams we talked about, Colts Neck, Union Catholic, Kingsway, we go down the list. There's some Middletown South. There's some great teams right there. South
Brunswick could be a very good sleeper team coming into the season. A lot of talent that could definitely improve themselves coming out this year off of last year. Definitely. I mean, there's so many teams you can't count out. Ridge you can never count out. Shawnee. I mean, there's so many great programs in the state any given Saturday. And you were talking about Lufrano. It's some of these names. I feel like we've been talking about them for so long. Like between Abby Lovey's, Lufrano, Wesley, and they're all going in their senior years. It seems like they've been around forever. And then we have the change of the guard almost with Vaness and Gonzales. Chacomi's back up there. She ran very well last year. Barney and all that have another season.
No, we've been talking about them forever because they've been great since their freshman year. These runners, you keep hearing about them, and they never seem to graduate because they come in as freshmen, they make a big impact, and they just keep improving. And with the top finishers from the Meet of Champs last year, with looking at 8 of the top 12 finishers from last year coming back, and you mentioned some of them right off the top. Aldridge was owning the state. Alyssa Aldridge for a couple of years. Ebner came up, pulled off that big win last year, and now we're gonna get a new champion. And
speaking of Aldridge, that was super impressive. Just what she pulled off last year, coming off that big injury and like missing all of summer. Like the fact that she won the group and came that close to another MOC title, that was ridiculous. But that was last year.
To almost pull off the three-peat, amazing. And heck of a career. And now these girls you alluded to earlier. I mean,
yeah, talk. While we're on the subject, we might as well just roll into that topic.
Yeah, I mean the 8 girls who come back out of the top 12 are Nicole Vaness, third last year, 18:23. She won, and she followed it up by winning indoor meet champs in the 2 mile. You mentioned Chloe Gonzales. She was 5th last year, 18:30.
That awesome battle with Abby Loveys in the 1600 meter at outdoor.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness!
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I mean these girls know each other well. They've raced against each other many times. Alexa Wesley, I mean 2-time meet champ, outdoor 3200 winner. She was 4th as a sophomore at meet champs, 6th last year. She comes back with 18:31 at Homedale. Right behind last year was Abby Loveys, won Group 4 last year. Then she followed that up outdoors, winning the meet champs in the 1600, 18:35 at Homedale. Jerica Lafrano, 18:36 at Homedale last year. Amanda Stone, 18:43. Tricomi,
18:46.
46, and then Corinne Barney, who came out of nowhere last year from Indian Hills, dropping an 18:47. So tons of talent, and that's race is there for the taking. Anybody can win. Any of those names we mentioned should not be a surprise if they win. It's going to, take a real low number, probably something 18:10 or faster with these girls hammering. Unlike the boys race, these girls going to be in a pack on each other's shoulders, trading surges, trading moves. Could be one of those out of the woods bunch of girls sprint to the finish kind of meet champs. That's how close it is, and that's how great the talent is. In this state, it's unbelievable.
A lot of these girls almost like. Now, I don't want to call breakout because some of them have had their names in the headlines for a while now, but a lot of these girls, especially this past year, that it's just been like a wow. They are among the elite now. Between Abby Loveys, even Amanda Stone, I feel like she's been grinding forever to get up to that point, and she's top 6 returner at Homedale this year. That's awesome for Monmouth Regional. And Jade Tricomi, let's see if she has a great season. Toms River South, and like you said, Barney came out of nowhere last year. Just awesome stuff. I'm so excited to get the season started.
I mean, Robert, some of these girls get lost in the shuffle sometimes because you look at someone like Amanda Stone. You're in a short conference. I mean, it's one of the best conferences in the state. And Madison Brandland. I mean, just look how deep it's been over the last couple of years. It's really hard, to get yourself known. But Stone pulled it off. I mean, she ran an unbelievable, her best race ever to meet champs. Went out hard and was able to hold it. And Tricomi, who came on huge at Toms River North as a freshman, moved over to Toms River South last year and had a completely different way of her training was different, her racing was different, where she didn't go out real hard early in the season and just try to PR every time. Eddie Baines at Toms River South had her gradually build and build and build. He says she'll be right at the end of the year, and bang, she was right there with the top runners. And I expect Tricomi to do that again. I mean, it's like I said, it's deep, and some of these girls, and there's girls we're not even talking about who are going to finish in that top 10. That going to drop. Here's Chloe Gonzales, who's the girl that goes from running 20-something to 18-something. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, right on the outside, you got Sam Green. I mean, Colin it's just Colleen Murgo.
Yeah, forgot about Sam. I mean, sorry, Sam, forgot about you there. I mean, state champ. I mean,
Kathleen Shea's taking the place of Madison Brand. I mean, a lot of great names. Isabella Turner, she's been another name I feel like we've been talking about forever.
Oh yeah, she's another one who came in as a freshman, won the conference title her freshman year. No one knew who she was. Bang! On her birthday, she goes out, she hammers, wins the conference championship, beats defending champ, and now she's at the front of Shawnee's pack. Another team that's always there at the end. They'll have great battles with Kingsway down there in South Jersey, and I expect Dana Palumbo's team to be to be a factor once again down the stretch.
Another team. I'm just going to keep plugging it. Another team in that podium series. All right. So let's keep this rolling out. Classification changes. This was a topic that you were very interested in talking about. A lot of big movements, like you were saying. Metuchen, Delsey, and Haddon Heights now meeting in the same section. Those are big teams going with new homes.
Oh yeah. I mean, the first thing I always look at when the classifications come out is like, who are the big teams? Who are the sectional champs or group champs maybe that moved? And right away, Metuchen jumped out at me. I mean, they've been Group 1 since 1976, and I even think it was possible for them to get bigger. You look at the Metuchen girls team, they won Group 1 last year. Now they're up to 2. The boys team won Group 1 a couple of years ago. They move up to 2, and that makes Group 2 really interesting because Delsey's another team that dropped. Sectional champs in South Jersey, they dropped to 2. where they'll battle Haddonfield now out of South Jersey Group 2. And then you had Haddon Heights, the South Jersey Group 1 champ, move up. So all of a sudden, Group 2 has, 5, 6, 7 different sectional champions last year. And it's just going to raise the stakes for those races. And it just, there's no such thing as weak groups anymore, really. I mean, all these, you want to say Group 2 small school, you throw it out the window a lot. Yeah, the Group 4 teams usually are always going to be deeper with more kids, and you see them get the wild cards and things. But at the top, when you look at the top end talent and the top teams, Group 2 teams, Haddonfield's proved it. Delsey, these teams we're talking about, Metuchen, they've proven that they can run with the big dogs, and it's great to see, because that's something that's definitely changed over the years. It wasn't always the case. The smaller schools usually got trounced. You had some great Haddonfield teams that Baker had that won meet of champs about 10, 12 years ago. But really, it's great to see the smaller schools being able to hang with the big schools. And speaking of other changes, Devin Hart, he moves over from South Jersey to Central Jersey. So
all those guys just grown and just
oh yeah. It's like, oh man, we got him now. So maybe he goes after something fast at Thompson Park, because he's probably going to go there for an invitational to get on that course.
Definitely.
And, so hopefully he'll get on there and crank something out. And Cinnaminstons, another team that moved South Jersey to Central Jersey. They stay in Group 2, and I'm missing somebody else that moved a big team. West Windsor North. They somehow wound up in North 2 last year, but they go back to Central Jersey. And so Brian Gould will be happy to be back in there with his Mercer County teams. And those are just some of the teams that have bounced around. It's always interesting to see. And I was texting with Marty Holleran from Metuchen when that first came out. He says, "Hey, yeah, we move up, and it's going to be hard, but we'll work harder." He said they might be a better team, but teams might get buried in Group 2 now that we're in Group 1, but they might be a better team because they have to work harder to try to match the teams that they're going to be running against.
Yeah, and like you said, the improvement of the small schools has been fun to watch. Like, not even in cross country, but even in track, like competing for those like relay championships and the group championships. It's just been like, those have been fun, close meets, like ties and everything. It's just been really great competition. And just because they're small schools doesn't mean you shouldn't be out there watching it, because you're missing some awesome cross country, track and field. This kind of moves into, because we were talking about how tough it's going to be for those Group 2 schools. It kind of moves into our last topic, which is the NJSA classification changes. Or not classification, advancement changes. Because there's only going to be 2 from, or let me run through this real quick. There's going to be 2 from each group that advance, and then 8 wildcard teams. And it's not going to be chosen by time anymore. It's going to be chosen by like a merge. Everyone's always on the site looking at the merges. When we have different classification races or different grade races, we combine the results and rescore them, kind of a thing. And we're going to, you and I, like, I do see the positive in it, but I think we're going to banter a little bit back and forth, because you seem to be a lot more for it than I am. So yay or nay, what's on your end? What's your view on the advancement changes?
Robert, I've been pounding the table yay for how long did you say I've been doing this for?
Almost 30 years, 29 years.
30 years. Every year I've been pounding the table for this, because it's nothing against the small schools. It's just I was tired of just seeing the real. I want to see the best teams at the big. Been my thing. I mean, meet of champs. You go back in time, used to be just the meet of champ, just the winners from the group meet. It was a true meet of champs where it's just champions. As the wild cards kind of got thrown into the picture a little bit, there's always those Group 4 teams, Group 3 teams a little bit too, but mostly Group 4 teams that finished 6, 7, 8, 9 right in there. And they would leave Homedale Park so dejected, because they knew their season was over. There were teams that they were much better than that advanced because they finished 3rd in a smaller group, much slower times. And like I said, it's not a knock on the smaller schools. I love the small schools. Group 1 3rd place team, non-public B 3rd place team.
All right. So while we get Jim back, he's frozen over there. Well, my take on it is, I am for it. In some regard, I'm definitely for the outdoor changes. That was awesome. If you went to the outdoor meet of champions compared to previous years, this past spring, It was absolutely fantastic. It was a quicker meet. It was a real showcase of the individual talent all around the state. And in terms of the health of the sport, you don't have your top stars waiting around for 7 hours. They're in, they're out. For the crowd, it's just constant, great racing, great heats, really close, fast times, big marks, and so on. But then when you get to the cross country, the team advancement, it's just like, I don't know, with 8 wild cards coming from merges or something like that, it's just a little. I don't know. It's a lot of wild cards. Only two from each one. I thought the old system was pretty much okay. I mean, you at least had the top 6 enter, so the top 3 from each group went, and then there was 3 wild cards based on time. I didn't see an issue with that because you at least had the top 6 teams in the state competing, and I thought that was enough. Because if it is going to be all Group 4 teams, or if it's going to be whatever larger schools, I don't necessarily want to watch the same race over again. But like you said, it's great to have as many of the best teams in there. But I guess I didn't have a problem with the cutoff that was there before. It just made the groups a little bit more interesting, I think, in terms of, all right, I didn't make the 3. I only have the 3 wild cards to make it. It was a little bit more like, this is now. We have to do this right now. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm definitely excited to see how it turns out. And oh, we lost Jim. I'm definitely excited to see how it turns out. And I'm sure it'll be good. I'm just trying to cause a interesting conversation. But thank you so much for watching. I think we've totally lost Jim because unfortunately something with the internet. But I'm sure he says thank you for watching as well. He had some great insight. It's such a pleasure having Jim Lambert on the site now, providing his articles and his look at his longtime knowledge of the sport and so on. Still to come on New Jersey MileSplit. Stick with us the rest of the summer and all through the season. Throughout August, we still have our team rankings poll to come out. That's going to come out the end of the month in August. Our top 10 teams in the state preseason wise. Over the next 2 weeks, we're also going to be releasing our top, I believe, top 10 boys and girls individually entering the season. So keep an eye out for those, and plenty of returner lists and stats and so on. We've already put out a bunch of like group by group, section by section kind of stuff. So keep an eye on that for the site. Huge shout out. We're going to finish with a huge shout out to all of our MileSplit subscribers. Anyone who purchases a subscription through a New Jersey piece of content, that goes right back into letting us do what we do all season long. You support our coverage, and I really, really appreciate everyone that provides a subscription to us, because it just lets us keep adding more and more stuff like this to our coverage, and keeps us out there just concentrated on cross-country track and field. So thank you so much. Looking forward to see more episodes of this. Let us know how much, if you like it, if you don't like it, things we can change a little bit. This is On the Mark. This is going to be a hopefully a recurring series on New Jersey MileSplit. Thanks for watching or listening, or however this is presented, and have a great night. Peace out.